back live in the studios, WLCN, Viewpoint, program of personalities, politicians, and perspectives. We're losing a little on the personality side here this morning with Mrs. Busby taking a much needed, much overdue sabbatical. She'll be back with us next Wednesday. The second half this morning, we're going to welcome Justin Fulton, minister of the Jefferson Street Christian Church and the originator, as I understand it, Dustin, of Together for Lincoln, which kind of follows a mantra that Judy and I talk about a lot, and that is what it means to be in a small community and see the people pull together, volunteers doing things for the benefit of others. We appreciate the fact that you have taken some time to come up here and visit with us. Tell us about how this Together for Lincoln project really got started.
Well, Together for Lincoln came about really as a result of a lot of our youth. We had about 4 churches serving together with Mission Lincoln is what they called it. Mm-hmm. And that was something that we saw, well, hey, the youth are doing this. How come the adults can't work together? And so it was one of those prophetic moments when you see that the youth had it figured out, and the adults needed to take a lesson from watching the youth. And so there are several people that were instrumental in helping get it started. Ron Otto at Lincoln Christian Church and I were basically more of the mouthpiece for it. We went around and tried to get the other pastors on board, but there were several people behind the scenes that really dreamt it up. It was kind of one of those things that even though it started with a few people, it seemed like it was something that caught on with everybody that we talked to right away.
Mm-hmm. Is this the third, or is it just the second year for this now?
This will be the third year for it.
That's what I was thinking, yes. I asked you out in the anteroom a while ago how your volunteerism was shaping up this year. These projects often, Dustin, they kind of start full bore and everybody is enthusiastic and wants to get on board. And the next 2 or 3 years, some of the enthusiasm wanes a little bit, and that's understandable. Nonetheless, you did indicate that you have a plethora of projects that need to be taken care of, but we don't have a plethora of volunteers. Let's address that just a minute.
Okay, well, the good news is that we are right on pace with our projects. We have close to 100 projects once again this year.
100 projects?
Yeah, we're still accepting projects that are non-construction based. So in other words, projects such as different cleanup jobs, whether it be helping people to winterize their homes or raking leaves or cleaning gutters. So those are projects that we're still open to, even though the applications that we'll talk a little bit later about say that the deadline's August 15th. We'll still accept non-construction projects. So we anticipate that will get up over 100 once again, which is where we've landed the last 3 years. The okay news is that money is okay. We do run a pretty tight budget. People are very generous about it, and the money is a little bit above where we were last year. Norm Newhouse, who's very dedicated to this project,
he sure is.
He helped organize a fundraiser up at IGA, those good folks up there. We really had a good turnout for that. But yeah, the bad news right now is that our volunteers are lacking. This is something that does happen quite a bit, but with the high number of projects once again this year, we are behind in volunteers. Last year we wound up with about 1,100 volunteers. This year we're right around 400. But again, I know that a lot of people think that, hey, it's the last Sunday in September. That might be a good Sunday to go out and ride your motorcycle or take the boat out one last time. And we're just really encouraging people, saying, hey, it is going to be a beautiful day, because we got a bunch of Christians praying that it will be a beautiful day. Mm-hmm. And what you need to do is you need to go ahead and give up that day in service to our community. And so we're pretty confident that it will pick up, but we really need everybody to get out there, fill out an application, and get it turned in so that we can get you plugged in. We do allow sign-ups the day of the project. However, that makes it very difficult to get our people plugged into the right places. Mm-hmm. And so in order to help the people who are helping out behind the scenes, it is best to get your application turned in as soon as possible.
Well, here's a question for you. Not all churches are involved. That's unfortunate, but the truth. So now, if there are church members in any given church that's not particularly involved in this in an official way, how can those volunteers, if they're so motivated, make themselves known so that they can help on this project.
Oh, absolutely. That is something that we always talk about. While this is something that the churches lead, it's not something that you have to be a church member in order to participate in. Or if your church is not participating in it as a whole, you can still participate in it one way or another. We always say that we don't check to see if you've been baptized, christened, or circumcised before we let you volunteer. We just let you get out and serve. So religious affiliation is not a problem for us as far as people who are going to be volunteering. So what we can do, there are two places you can get applications at in our community. One of those would be at the State Bank of Lincoln Walmart branch. Please note, we had a lot of people go and ask the Walmart employees where they could sign up. It is the State Bank of Lincoln branch within Walmart.
Right.
And then also, you can go ahead and get those up at Action Rental, which is up on Kickapoo Street right off the square. And then also you can go online to www.togetherforlincoln.com, and you can download an application there and fill it out and send it in to us. And the sooner you do that, the better off you'd be. David Doolin actually is the one who did our webpage for us initially there. He did a great job on it. And so
a piece of volunteering.
Oh, yeah. So,
anything more complicated than access ramps? And those can be complicated in and of themselves, I understand. But how deep do you go in doing remodeling for somebody?
Well, there were a couple of remodeling applications, and unfortunately, we did have to turn down this year because they were too complicated.
Sure.
They would have been. They would have taken people, if they were working a full time, probably a whole week to do so. And so it's kind of on a case by case basis. Last year, I know we got into a project that was supposed to be a roofing project, and then they realized when they took off the roofing that underneath the roofing was rotten, and then they realized the trusses were rotten. Then they got down and they wound up rebuilding an entire back porch. Which was a good situation to help with. It was one we definitely wanted to help with because of the family situation and everything. But it was one of those.
One day though.
No, it took some people coming back, and that's another thing I wanted to mention. Two more things I wanted to mention. One of them is that we have added a second day this year on October 2nd, which was a follow-up day, and that follow-up day will be on Saturday, October 2nd. It's designed for those projects that might not have gotten completely finished on Sunday, that there'll be some volunteers coming back. Sometimes churches might have some qualms about volunteering or working on a Sunday, and so this also gives them the freedom to say, well, maybe we won't send people out on a Sunday, but we will send people out on the next Saturday. The second thing I did want to mention is that on the evening of September 26th, that Sunday evening out at Lincoln Christian University Chapel at 7 o'clock, we have our worship service, which is it's a Christian worship service, non-denominational in nature, but it's always a fabulous event. There's right around 1,000 people that attend, so it's a full house. Everybody's full of energy. This year we do have a very special guest speaker coming in, Dr. Bob Lowry, who has been out at Lincoln Christian University for several years, for many years, and is a Revelation scholar. We
appreciate the fact that you work so hard in the community. The Jeff Street folks are lucky to have you, young man.
Well, thank you.
Well, I'd like to close with one little saying. Paul Harvey, great commentator, who nationwide, of course, very popular man, and he said, like what you do. If you don't like it, do something else. Thank you for Viewpoint.